Some times ago in a village called Ayan. Ayan was once proud. The soil was generous. The rain came when called. Laughter echoed from compound to compound. Children ran barefoot on red earth. Farms were full. Hearts were light. But those days became stories, told only by elders who still remembered what peace looked like. Because peace left Ayan. In Ayan, trouble did not knock. It lived there. If it was not war, it was hunger. If it was not hunger, it was sickness. If it was not sickness, it was fear. Every solution opened the door to another sorrow. The farms dried up. The rivers thinned. Children slept with empty stomachs. Mothers shared one meal among many mouths. And then another trouble came. A nearby village saw Ayan's weakness. At first, they came pretending to help. They said, "We are your brothers." But brotherhood without love is a hidden spear. They began to come whenever they wished. They took food from Ayan. They stole goats and yams. They entered homes without permission. They left behind tears and shame. The young girls lived in fear. Mothers hid their daughters. The elders wept in silence. Ayan had become a land without defense. The king of Ayan was called King Odegon. He wore a crown. But peace had left his head. Each night, he sat alone in his palace, listening to the cries of his people drift through the darkness. He cried. Not the cry of weakness, but the cry of a ruler whose hands were tied. What kind of king am I? He asked the ancestors. When my people suffer and I have no answer. No army was strong enough. No treaty held firm. No wisdom seemed sufficient. Ayan was sinking. One night, after pouring libation and shedding silent tears, the king summoned the elders and priests. Go, he said. Ask the oracle. Find the root of this suffering. Days passed. Drums spoke. Smoke rose. The unseen was questioned. And finally, the oracle spoke. Its voice was heavy. The land is angry. Blood of injustice stains the soil. Peace will return only when a pure one walks the land with sacrifice. The elders trembled. The oracle continued. A virgin must carry the sacrifice around the whole village. Only then would the curse be lifted. When the message reached the people, fear sealed every mouth. Parents hid their daughters. Families whispered behind closed doors. Some said, "Why should my daughter die for everyone?" Others said, "Let the king send his own daughter." Days passed. No one came forward. The land remained broken. But among the people lived a young girl named Moyo. She came from a family so poor. No one remembered their name. She had lost her mother early. She knew hunger. She knew fear. She knew pain. When Moyo heard the oracle's demand, she did not run. That night, she sat quietly and said, "If the land dies, what future do I have?" At dawn, Moyo walked to the palace. The guards laughed. "Go back, little girl." But she stood firm. When the king saw her, his eyes filled with tears. "My child," he asked softly, "do you know what you are offering?" She bowed her head and replied, "If my life can buy peace for many, then let it be so." The palace fell silent. The elders prepared the ritual. The sacrifice was placed upon Moyo's head. The drums beat slowly. The wind stood still. She walked through every part of Ayan. Past broken homes. Past hungry children. Past mothers who knelt and wept as she passed. Some cried out, "May your name be remembered forever." As she completed the final round, the sky changed. The ground trembled gently. That night, rain fell. Not the angry rain, but the rain of mercy. Days later, crops grew again. Hunger loosened its grip. Fear left the land. The neighboring village tried to return, but could not cross the boundary. An unseen wall stood firm. Ayan had found peace. Moyo did not return, but her name became eternal. The alarm final lessons. Sometimes, salvation comes from where we least expect. True heroes are often the forgotten ones. Peace has a price, but its reward is life.